Hi guys, Shavik here. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. So today we will cover another topics of my interview experience playlist. So let's get started. Yes, so today I will share my interview experience at Amazon. So this interview experience that I'm going to share, that might be going to be changed because I have taken my interview at Amazon's at the time when I was in my college for SDE-Interns load. But mostly like SDE-Interns and SDE-1s, there is a minor tweak in the interview. They're mostly a one more rounds that I will be also going to be covered as a part of this video. But mostly the difficulty or the questions they are going to ask for like interns and SDE-1s are like almost similar. Or if you are going to like taking any freshers like SDE-1s kind of roles after like pass out from your college, that is mostly kind of like similar. Yeah, so let's just quickly jump on the each of the rounds. So the topics that I am going to cover, the rounds that I have it, and the problems. I am not going to share the exact problems that have asked to me as a part of my interview, but I will give a like high levels problems overview, the topics on which the problem has asked on, and like the key factors that you have to be taking care when you are going to answer or going to face some problems or have to build your logic on how to represent yourselves on the interview. Yeah, so let's get quickly jump on the round wise, and after that, after covering all the rounds, I will be sharing the bonus tips that you have to be follow for. That is mostly like more than interns. Like if you are going to apply for SDE-1 kinds of interview, that tips definitely you have to be aware of. Yeah. So the first round, I applied with referral only. I have asked LinkedIn and my college seniors also for referrals of SDE-Interns rule when it was offered. So I applied on off campus via referrals only, and after getting the referrals, my resume has shortlisted, and I got the like online assessment link. So I have put a detailed video of the resume template you have to be followed, the points you have to be taking care. If you are not still now, if you are not watch that video, I will definitely suggest to go on that video. On that, I have like on high levels giving you an overview like what points you have to incorporate on your resume to before applying on such companies. Yeah, so that is first tip. So please try to apply with referrals, and after that, if your resume is going to be shortlisted via the online ATS scanners, and maybe recruiters also manually go through your resume, and if all things are fine, then you are going to get a online assessment link. Yeah, so on online assessments of Amazon, they basically focus on your behavioral skills majorly. That is like common online assessments. I have to say, no matter which positions you are going to be applied, it's common for interns, SD1s, SD2 also, SD3 also. Even if you are going to get an online assessments of Amazon, it is mostly common. So yes, on online assessments, as far as I remember, there is like 60 to 70 minutes on which you have to solve like two DSA questions and few MCQs they have it, but for them like there are time slotted for every sections. The first sections I think is a DSA or maybe MCQs, but the vice versa is going to be a DSA and the MCQs. But every sections is a time allocated for that particular sections. So if you are not able to solve on all the problems of that particular time bounds for that particular sections, automatically that particular sections is going to be closed, and you are bound to apply for the next sections. This basically the next sections is automatically going to be come up on your window. So but if you are going to able to solve more than the time for the next sections, time is not going to be like add-ons from your past sections, because you are able to solve, let's suppose the MCQ sections less than like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes. You have like able to solve it with less times. If you are going to expect that times is going to be add-ons to your next sections, that is not going to be happening. So every sections, the allocated times is going to be prefit. So there is no dynamically changed if you are able to solve the previous sections with the lesser time. So that is the point you have to be taking care of. So yeah, the first MCQ rounds, I think there are 20 to 30 questions as far as I remembered. I not able to recall the exact number of problems because that is kind of like 4 years almost past when I have like taking this interview. But mostly they get 20 to 30 questions I have faced, and none of the questions are negative markings and all are MCQs. Majorly all the questions are output predicting. They have already given a code snippet, and you have to predict the output of that particular question. And some of like your Java, Python, or your language, or I have to say like pseudocode specific fundamentals they are basically studying. They are not focusing on any particular language specific things. They just basically trying to put some pseudocodes, and on perspective of the pseudocodes, how good you can like able to predict the outputs, or you can find out the problems on that particular pseudocode you have to correct on, and you have to run on, and you have to submit it. So something like this. But I on high levels, I have to say, if you done like good amount of DSA that we are like on daily basis we are doing, then that is kind of a like cakewalk for you. Like mostly the problems are palindrome. If a number is palindrome, if a string is palindrome, like this kind of basic problems they have given, and they have put some mistakes on the code executions. You have to find out it and correct it, and then you have to submit it. Or some questions you have to predict the output. All the questions mostly on this, and few questions they have asked for the time complexity. Some binary search code they have given, some merge sort code they have given. You have to predict the you basically have to select the time complexity for that particular algo. But this all the algos are very popular algo that mostly all of us has already covered. Yeah, so that is on the first sections, and on the second sections there are two standard DSA questions they have basically set for you. And for my case, as far as I remember, the first question is a very standard DP, that is a one-dimensional DP, and mostly like if you are solve kind of like this particular problems like frog jumps kind of problems, if the frog is able to land to the last cells, if they by collecting some, if every jump has some cost associated with it, if the frog is altogether able to reach on the last cells, then what is the like minimum energy cost the frog is going to be spent? That is, I think, very one-dimensional DP questions on the. If you are going to cover the DP playlist, then you are definitely able to solve it. And if you are not, then please comment it. I will be make a separate video of it. But mostly all of us has already solved it. So that is one problem. That is not exactly that problems, but there is a like some top of add-ons of this. But if you are able to write the pseudocode for that particular problems, you will definitely able to solve that particular problems also. And the second problems is a very standard graph questions, but the graph is a disjoint graph, like non-connected components. Like the graph is not a connected graph, it is like disconnected graph, and on disconnected graphs you have to do some kind of BFS to compute your answer. So if you have solved BFS, standard BFS, and if you know what add-ons you have to be done to basically solve a particular problems for disconnected, if the graph is disconnected components, then it is also a kind of very easy problem. So I personally feels like the problems is kind of a easy medium kind of difficulty, not like quite difficult. So I was able to solve like both the problems within like 15 to 20 minutes, and the time allocated for the problems I think is like 60 to 70 minutes. So if you solve like this kind of questions, you are in a very good state to solve both the problems. Yeah, so that is on the DSA. And then third sections is like a very specific of Amazon specific, where they have basically asked some behavioral questions. I think there are 60 to 70 behavioral questions as far as I remembered, and all of them are MCQ only. You have to like kind of say, are you agree, disagree, or align, disalign, slightly aligned, strongly aligned, kind of similar kind of answers you have to be select on that. Based on that, they will basically try to predict your mentality, how you are going to be react on a particular situation based. So that all the problems are situation based. There is no like pre-practice kind of things you have to be aware of, but you have to be follow. But specifically, I have to say follow some behavioral, go through some Amazon 12 to 14 principles, leadership principles Amazon have, and just go through them before your interview. So that would be more than sufficient. I have to be. Yeah. So after this round, so I think within 1 week they have been taken. After that, I got a mails from the recruiter that I cleared the online assessments, and the next round is going to be a DSA round. Yeah. So on DSA rounds, on the first DSA rounds, as I remember, the first problems they have asked for, that is like standard DP, one-dimensional DP only, mostly house robber kind of problems. If you have solved on DP, then it is kind of the same variations of that, but there are like problem statement is going to be changed, but we have to fit that algo mostly with some question specific modifications. Yeah, I was able to solve it, but interview are like basically looking for like recursion space optimized solutions, which is kind of like iterative DP they are basically looking for. But yeah, I was also done a hands-on on iterative versions of the recursive versions that I have solved for. But mostly if you have solved the recursive versions with the exact time and space complexity correctness, then also you should be good on for your next attempt. And that is the first problem. And they have asked a second problem. So on the second problem is a linked list topic. On linked list, basically some rotations, in rotations kind of things. Like if you have to reverse your linked list in a in rotations, like in you have to select in consecutive elements of a linked list, and you have to reverse them. But for that, like every linked list problems are going to be associated with the same constant. You have to just basically you have to do a pointer rotations. You can't create a new linked list. You can't do like create a separate space for that. You have to do on in space the things. So the problems is mostly this, but I am basically stating the most harder versions of this, but if you solve this particular problems like in group rotations linked list, then you should be like very good state to solve that particular problems. Yeah, so I was able to solve like both the problems within 45 minutes mostly, but the round durations is kind of like 1 hour, and post that there is a like few discussions. If I have some questions specifically specifically for Amazon's specific or the interviewer specific, that we have us this chit chat discussions only after that. But yeah, like I am pretty confident that I was able to clear that. Yeah, like and after like within 1 to 2 hours, I got a calls from recruiter that yeah I cleared that round, and the next round is again going to be a DSA rounds altogether. So yeah, so I have to be prepared for that. The next round is not scheduled for that day, and after that there are weekends. So the next round is scheduled for Monday. So on this round again, that is a PODS rounds. The first question that I have remembered, that is they have asked for a tree specific question. Like if you solve the problems on tree, that is of burn a tree from a particular node, if you are trying to burn the tree, how many minutes it is going to be, minimum minutes it is going to be solved, then you should be like very good state to solve it. Yeah, so mostly this kind of problems, but not is like in how many minutes it is going to be take to burn the entire tree. It is not exactly that questions, but mostly like the problems is like multi-source BFS kind of problems. If you solve that, then you should be able to solve that. So, but the pointers they have given, that is of 3 pointers. You can't do a standard BFS. You have to create the parent pointers things that you are generally doing for such kind of problems. That extra handlings you have to do, and after that you can run your standard BFS on this on the problems they have asked for. So that is the extra add-ons, but on basically each iterations of your BFS, you have to apply some kind of mathematics. That is the problem specific mathematics you have to be applied, and after that you will definitely get an AC. Yeah, so that is the second round first problems I have faced, and after that like the discussions went on like the my college projects that I have built on. So there that I feel that people to people perspective, like if you your project perspective majorly, so that discussions I am not going to be in deep, but on that like what optimizations or what future plans I am what future plans I can propose on that particular projects, what like further modifications I can propose if I am going to get times on that particular projects. That kind of discussions we have it. So yeah, I have like in-depth experience of my project, so I was able to tackle all that particular problems. And yeah, like after that like few half an hours only after that rounds, I got a calls from my recruiter that this round also went well, and the last round is going to be a like hiring manager rounds. Yeah, so now let's jump on now hiring manager rounds. Yeah, so on hiring manager rounds, this round started with like my backgrounds mostly, my college experience, the projects that I have worked on my college times, my final year projects, and I have worked on like few college enhancement project also. We have discussions on that also, and few like output predictions and puzzles kind of questions that we have discussed. So these entire discussions almost took like 30 to 35 to 40 minutes mostly, and after that like hiring manager basically want to discuss one DSS specific problem. So yeah, I am happy to do so. So after that I got a question on the DSS perspective. So on that particular problems, I think that is kind of a very deep recursions you like basically hiring manager want to dive deep into. So yeah, I solved mostly the problems with recursions only, and like hiring manager mostly satisfied with this. We try to solve it with DP, but the recursions variables are kind of something like this, like altogether like allocate some memory for that particular recursive problems is going to give you an MLE, that is memory limit exceeded. So yeah, we have a very in-depth discussions why it is not able to, we can't convert that recursive code to DP, and after that this round has wrapped with a good note only. So the problems that I have, the recursive problems that I have mostly faced on, if you solve kind of like Sudoku solvers or n-quiz problems, then you will definitely able to solve these particular problems. I have to say this is like the easier versions of that particular problem solving. Yeah, so I was mostly able to provide the most modular codes. He basically looking for the modular code. I initially wrote the codes in kind of a single functions, but he's on that times basically spotted me and asked to write it in the modular, like different small functions components. Yeah, I followed that, and we closed this round I think so within 50 to 55 minutes. Yeah, and after that I got confirmations from my recruiter that this round also went well, like and that was the final round, and the result is going to be they will be communicate over them. Yeah, and after that the times of getting the further communications was too high, and kind of like 3 weeks later I got a offer letters of I have selected for internships role, SDE-Intern role for 6-month internship from my final year college times. Final semester of my college. Yeah, that's all about the internships interview experience that I have had. But like top of that, on bonus tips, I have to say, like, you on if you are going to apply for full-time roles, full-time freshers roles, SD1 kind of roles, then maybe like if you are kind of like apply for a senior SD1 kind of just before of SD2, if you have spent your 2 to 3 years, 4 years experience on the industry, then maybe system design is going to be incorporated, but mostly definitely not for SD1 roles. Amazon is don't ask any system design currently. As per my experience, I didn't face, and as per as my knowledge, base knowledge, there is SD1s. Amazon not ask for any system design kind of problems, but there is one more round is going to be add-ons if you are going to apply for full-time roles, that is of your bar result round. So on bar results, mostly they are going to discuss your projects, your last rounds problems, and there can be some add-ons that is specifically for bar results that like is going to be coming to basically take your interview. But mostly the first 5 rounds, first 3 rounds that I have told you, including that online assessment round that I have told you, the 4 rounds, then bar results is also kind of a like medium difficulty, you can say, but the topics on the bar results is going to be vast. So they can ask you DSA, they can ask you behavioral problems, they can ask your projects, fundamentals of your college projects, any topics they can ask, and also your last rounds that you have done on Amazon of that particular drive, then that particular discussions can happen of that particular rounds also. So if bar results is going to fail to discuss on that, they can also discuss that. So this is kind of a like more vast kind of rounds. There is no limit, like we have some TSA rounds, we have some managerial rounds, but on bar results round, problem can be like any perspective. Yeah, so that is like kind of add-ons round if you are going to apply for like full-time roles. But like this is also, I have to say, is kind of a medium difficulty level sandbox if you have performed like really well on your earlier rounds. Yeah, so that is all about my personal Amazon interview experience, and the bonus tips that I want to add on, like please focus on your speed because you have to solve, like that is depends on your interviewer, obviously, how many problems basically he or she basically asked you to tackle solve that particular 45 to 60 minute duration. So please try to solve like at least 2 medium level questions on medium levels. I am stating on lead code perspective, lead code difficulty perspective. So please try to solve like 2 medium level questions within 45 to 60 minutes. So if you are able to do so, then I have to say you are a very good state. And please try to attend the contest, and please try to solve the daily problems within time bounds, because time is actually the major factor. So if we have infinite times, then we can solve any problems. No matter what the difficulty is. So please try to solve the medium tech problems within a 30-45 minutes time durations. Try to solve couple of problems, because I feel 2 problems which is medium tech in lead code, I have to solve them within 45 to 60 minutes duration. So please make your preparations on that levels. And on online assessment round also, the speed is actually the matters, and for behavioral round, please focus on some 40 leadership principles that Amazon have. Yeah, so that's all about that my Amazon internships interview experiences. And after that, based on your internships, they are going to provide you like some pre-placement offer. So I will cover that how you have to be proactively complete your internships. I will create a separate video on that. I will not going to cover on that, but there are few key bonus tips that you also have to be follow when you are going to get a chance to getting an internships on such a like MAANG type of companies. Then what key points you have to follow so that you are going to get an pre-placement offer, full-time offer after you successfully complete your internship. I will cover that on a separate video, but that's all about of this particular video. And if this video is helpful for you, please share the videos to your friends circle so that they can also get the most of it. And please subscribe to our channels to show your support to us, and please turn on the notifications so that when we are going to live with our next video, you are going to get the notification as soon as possible. So that's it guys, that's it for today. Let's meet tomorrow with another beautiful video, another beautiful topic. Bye guys, bye.